Hey everyone, and welcome to our deep dive. Today we're going to be exploring the world of AI agents. Now, if you've ever felt overwhelmed, just trying to keep up with the latest news, or wished you could automate, some of those tedious tasks in your life, well, agents might just be the answer you've been looking for.
That's right. And what's fascinating here is that we're not talking about just any AI, we're talking about agents. AI systems designed to act autonomously, making decisions and completing tasks without constant human guidance. It's like having a superpowered digital assistant who can learn and adapt.
Okay, so let's unpack this a bit. I get the idea of a helpful AI, but what exactly are these agentic frameworks we're diving into today? What makes them so special?
Think of an agent as a skilled worker and the framework as the blueprint that guides their actions. These frameworks, especially the ones developed by companies like Anthropic, provide the structure and tools that allow agents to operate effectively. They define how agents process information, make decisions, and interact with their environment.
So it's like giving the agent a set of instructions and a toolbox to work with.
Exactly. And Anthropic breaks down these frameworks into two main categories: workflows and agents. Workflows are like those step-by-step recipes you follow in the kitchen. Each action triggers the next in a predefined sequence. Imagine you're trying to automate your marketing reports. A workflow could pull data from different sources, generate charts, and even send the report to your team, all on schedule.
That makes sense. But what about those autonomous agents we talked about earlier? How do they fit into this?
That's where things get really interesting. Agents, unlike workflows, have more freedom to make choices and adapt to changing situations. They can figure out the best way to complete a task, even if it means deviating from the original plan. Think of a self-driving car. It needs to constantly adjust its route based on traffic, weather, and other unpredictable factors.
So it's like choosing between following a set path versus giving the AI the ability to explore and find its own way.
Precisely. And Anthropic suggests that while workflows are great for simple, predictable tasks, agents are the way to go when you need flexibility and adaptability at scale. Think about complex problems like managing a city's power grid or optimizing global supply chains. These situations demand an AI that can learn, adapt, and make smart decisions on the fly.
Okay, so agents are the more advanced, independent option.
Yeah.
But how do you actually build something like that? Where do you even begin?
Well, Anthropic has been doing some groundbreaking work in this area, and they've shared some fascinating insights into their process. One key takeaway is the concept of augmented LLMs, basically supercharging large language models with extra tools and memory. It's like giving your digital assistant a toolbox and a notepad to work with.
It's like taking those powerful language models, like the ones we use for chatbots and translation, and giving them even more capabilities.
Exactly. They've got these special tools for interacting with different systems and the ability to remember past interactions, which allows them to handle much more complex tasks.
That sounds pretty powerful. Can you give us an example of what these tools might look like?
Sure. One example is the Model Context Protocol. Think of it as a bridge that connects these tools and LLMs, allowing them to communicate and work together seamlessly. It's like a universal language that helps the agent understand and utilize its toolbox effectively.
So these tools and the Model Context Protocol are what enable these augmented LLMs to actually function as agents.
Precisely. They provide the building blocks for creating agents that can interact with the world, solve problems, and even learn from their experiences.
This is all starting to make sense. So we've got our augmented LLMs equipped with tools and memory, ready to act as agents, but how do we actually put them to work? What kind of tasks can they handle?
Well, Anthropic has identified several key workflow patterns that are particularly useful for agent-based systems. These patterns provide a framework for structuring the agent's actions and decision-making processes. Let's dive into a few examples to see how they work in practice.
Sounds good. Ready to see these agents in action.
First up, we have prompt chaining. This pattern is all about breaking down a complex task into a series of smaller steps, each triggered by the previous one. Imagine you're writing a marketing email and then want to automatically translate it into multiple languages. Each step, writing, translating, sending builds upon the last, creating a seamless chain of actions.
It's like a domino effect. Each action setting off the next one. So what other patterns are out there?
Another useful pattern is routing. Think of it like an intelligent mail sorter. The agent acts as a decision maker, analyzing incoming information and directing it to the appropriate destination. For example, in a customer service scenario, the agent can route different types of questions to the right department, ensuring a smooth and efficient process.
That sounds incredibly helpful, especially for businesses dealing with a high volume of customer inquiries. It's like having a super efficient receptionist who never gets tired.
Exactly. And then there's parallelization, which is all about speed and efficiency. Imagine running multiple checks on a piece of code simultaneously to catch errors. It's like having a team of experts working on the same problem, each contributing their expertise to find the best solution.
So it's like harnessing the power of teamwork to get things done faster.
Precisely. And there are two main flavors of parallelization: sectioning and voting. Sectioning involves breaking down a task into independent parts and tackling them simultaneously. Think of it like dividing a large project into smaller, manageable chunks.
So each part of the task can be completed in parallel, speeding up the entire process. That's clever. What about voting? How does that work?
Voting is all about running the same task multiple times, each with slight variations, and then combining the results to get a more robust and accurate outcome. It's like getting multiple opinions on a complex issue to ensure you're making the best decision.
I can see how that would be useful for tasks that require a high level of accuracy, or where there's a lot of uncertainty. It's like getting a second opinion from a specialist. What other patterns are out there?
Next up is the orchestrator workers pattern, which is perfect for tackling complex projects with multiple moving parts. Imagine a construction project. You've got different teams specializing in plumbing, electrical work, carpentry, and so on. The orchestrator LLM acts as the general contractor, assigning tasks to worker LLMs based on their expertise and managing the overall workflow.
It's like having a project manager for your AI agents, making sure everything runs smoothly and efficiently.
Exactly. And finally, there's the evaluator optimizer pattern. This pattern is all about continuous improvement. Imagine an editor refining a draft. One LLM generates content, while another provides feedback and suggests improvements. This back-and-forth process leads to a higher quality output.
It's like having a built-in quality control system, constantly refining and improving the work. So we've covered a lot of ground here with workflows. But what about those autonomous agents we talked about earlier? How do they operate differently?
That's a great question. Let's delve into the world of autonomous agents and explore how they plan, learn, and adapt to achieve their goals.
Sounds fascinating. I'm ready to see how these agents take charge and tackle complex tasks on their own.
Well, one key difference is that autonomous agents are designed to operate with a higher degree of independence. While workflows follow a predefined set of steps, agents can plan their own actions, make decisions based on real-time information, and even ask for human input when needed.
So they're like proactive problem solvers, constantly adapting to their environment and figuring out the best course of action.
Exactly. They can learn from their past experiences, adjust their strategies, and even anticipate potential challenges.
This is starting to sound like science fiction. Are we talking about robots taking over the world here?
Not quite. While these agents are incredibly advanced, they still operate within the boundaries set by humans. Think of them as highly skilled assistants who can handle complex tasks, but ultimately they're guided by our goals and objectives.
So they're like super-powered tools that we can leverage to solve complex problems and automate tedious tasks. But if they're so independent, how do we make sure they're doing what we want them to do?
That's where careful tool design and clear instructions become crucial. Just like you wouldn't give a new employee a complex task without proper training and equipment, you need to equip your agents with the right tools and guidance to succeed.
That makes sense. So it's not just about building the agent itself,
Yeah.
but also about creating the right environment and support system for it to thrive in.
Precisely. And Anthropic has some great insights into how to approach this. They actually found that when building a coding agent, they spent more time optimizing their tools than the overall prompt. It's like realizing that giving the agent the right equipment is just as important as giving it the right instructions.
Wow, that's really interesting. It highlights how important it is to think about the entire ecosystem surrounding the agent, not just the agent itself.
Exactly. And Anthropic encourages us to think about agent-computer interfaces, ACIs, in the same way we think about writing clear instructions for a new team member. It's about creating a smooth and intuitive experience for the agent, so it can easily access the tools and information it needs to perform its tasks effectively.
So it's all about setting the agent up for success by providing it with the right tools, instructions, and support. But are there any other key principles that Anthropic recommends for agent development?
Absolutely. They highlight 3 core principles that are essential for building reliable and effective agents. First, simplicity. Keep the agent's design and functionality as straightforward as possible. Avoid unnecessary complexity. Second, transparency. Ensure that the agent's decision-making process is clear and understandable, so you can trust its actions. And finally, thorough documentation and testing. rigorously document the agent's capabilities and limitations, and conduct thorough testing to ensure it performs as expected in various scenarios.
Those principles sound like a solid foundation for responsible agent development. It's all about building trust and ensuring that these powerful AI systems are used ethically and effectively.
Exactly. It's about striking a balance between empowering agents with autonomy and ensuring they operate safely and responsibly within the boundaries we set.
This has been an incredible deep dive into the world of agent frameworks. We've covered everything from the basics of workflows to the complexities of autonomous agents. But what does all of this mean for someone who's just starting to explore this field? Where do they go from here?
That's a great question. Let's shift gears and discuss some practical advice for those who are eager to dive into the world of agents and start building their own intelligence systems. Well, for those just starting out, Anthropic offers some excellent advice. Start simple. Focus on the problem you're trying to solve. And don't overcomplicate things.
That sounds like solid advice for any new endeavor, really. But how does that apply specifically to building agents?
It's about understanding the fundamental building blocks first. Remember those augmented LLMs we discussed earlier? Start by getting familiar with those, exploring how they work and the different tools they can utilize. Then gradually delve into the various workflow patterns and agent architectures.
So it's like learning a new language. You start with the basic vocabulary and grammar before trying to write a novel.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to experiment. Try building simple agents. Play around with different tools and frameworks, and see what works best for your specific needs. Remember, this field is constantly evolving, so the best way to learn is by doing.
That's exciting. It's like being a kid in a candy store with all these possibilities to explore, but with so many frameworks and tools out there, it can be overwhelming to know where to begin. Any recommendations on how to navigate this landscape?
Anthropic suggests starting with existing frameworks as a foundation. These frameworks provide pre-built components and structure, making it easier to get started, but it's essential to remember that frameworks are just tools. Don't rely on them blindly.
So it's like using a recipe to bake a cake.
Yeah.
It gets you a starting point, but you can always tweak the ingredients and methods to create your own unique masterpiece.
Exactly. Always try to understand the underlying code and concepts. That way you can customize the framework to fit your specific needs and truly master the art of agent development.
That makes sense. It's about taking ownership of the process, not just blindly following instructions. But building agents isn't just about writing code, is it? How do we ensure that these agents are actually performing as we expect them to?
That's where evaluation comes in a crucial aspect of any software development project, and especially important when dealing with AI agents. Anthropic recommends establishing clear success criteria and feedback loops to continuously monitor and refine your agent's performance.
It's like having a quality control process for your AI, making sure it's delivering the desired results and meeting your expectations.
Precisely. And remember, even though these agents are designed for autonomy, human feedback is invaluable. Regularly assess their performance, identify areas for improvement, and fine-tune their behavior based on real-world observations.
So it's about finding that sweet spot between automation and human oversight, leveraging the power of AI while ensuring that it aligns with our goals and values.
Exactly. Now, going back to those real-world applications we touched upon earlier, Anthropic highlighted customer support and coding as two areas where agents are already making a significant impact.
Oh yeah, the customer support example is fascinating. Imagine a superpowered chatbot that can not only answer your questions, but also access your account information, track your order, and even resolve issues on the spot.
Think about it, a customer support agent that can pull up your entire purchase history, check the knowledge base for solutions, and even issue a refund if needed, all while engaging in a natural conversation. That's the potential of these agents.
It's like having a dedicated personal assistant for every customer, ensuring a seamless and satisfying experience. And then there's the whole coding agent thing, which still blows my mind.
It's truly revolutionary. Imagine agents that can write and debug code, using test results as feedback to continuously improve their skills. It's like having a tireless coding partner who's always learning and evolving alongside you.
I can definitely see how that would be a game changer for software development. But it also raises some interesting questions about the future of coding itself. Will we even need human programmers in the future?
That's a great question, and it's one that sparks a lot of debate. While these agents can automate tasks and boost productivity, human oversight and creativity remain crucial. After all, it's humans who define the goals, set the vision, and ultimately ensure that the code aligns with the bigger picture.
So it's not about replacing human programmers, but rather augmenting their capabilities and freeing them up to focus on more strategic and creative aspects of software development.
Exactly. It's about collaboration and harnessing the strengths of both humans and AI to achieve even greater things. And this brings us back to Anthropic's emphasis on transparency and documentation. The more we understand how these agents work and the decisions they make, the better we can collaborate with them and ensure they're used responsibly and ethically.
It's about building trust, not just with the technology itself, but also with the people who create and use it. Trust is essential as we continue to explore the vast potential of AI agents and integrate them into our lives.
Absolutely. Trust is the foundation for a successful partnership between humans and AI. A partnership that can lead to groundbreaking innovations and solutions to some of the world's most complex challenges.
So where do we go from here? What's the next big thing in the world of agents?
Well, that's the exciting part. It's difficult to predict with certainty, but I think we can expect to see agents becoming even more sophisticated in their ability to learn, adapt, interact with the world around them.
Imagine agents that can not only write code, but also design websites, compose music, or even create entire virtual worlds. The possibilities are truly endless.
It's mind-blowing to think about, and as these agents become more capable, the ethical considerations will only become more crucial. We need to ensure that these powerful tools are used for good and benefit all of humanity.
It's a reminder that the future of AI is not just about technology, but also about people. It's about how we choose to use these tools and the impact they have on our lives and our world.
That's a profound thought, and I think it's a perfect segue into our final point. We've explored the technical aspects, the potential benefits, and even touched on the ethical considerations. But at its core, the development and application of AI agents come down to one fundamental question. What do we want to achieve with this technology?
That's a great question to ponder. It brings the focus back to our human values and aspirations. What kind of future do we want to create with AI? What problems do we want to solve? What goals do we want to achieve?
Exactly. And as we continue to explore the fascinating world of AI agents, it's crucial to keep those questions at the forefront of our minds.
Well, this has been an incredible deep dive into the world of agent frameworks. We've learned so much about how these powerful AI systems work, their potential to revolutionize various industries, and most importantly, the importance of responsible development and ethical considerations. If you're interested in learning more about AI agents, we encourage you to check out the resources mentioned in this episode. And stay tuned for more exciting deep dives into the world of AI. Thanks for joining us. And until next time, happy diving.